check this out. In this video, I'm gonna cover the top 4 tools that I use inside of Adobe Photoshop as a 6-figure creative. Let's get into it. All right, so the first feature, AI feature, which some people might not even consider this to be an AI feature, but I do. I think you should look at is auto selection. So when you want to select a subject, all you're gonna do is go to the move button here at the top. You're gonna go down in your properties panel here on the side, and then you're gonna do select subject. So as you can see, all this is going to be very dependent on like how good the background is being detected, or like how much separation or contrast that the subject is going to get from the background. But at the same time, you get a pretty good starting cutout on this subject. So if you look at it here, like this cutout of Ryan Williams is pretty good, but you're going to have to go in and clean it up. So typically I would use something like this, and if I just select out of that by hitting Command D on the keyboard, you could even do the same thing with remove background here. Move myself over here. If you hit remove background, you kind of get the same selection that it was going to give you, and you can clean it up. The best part is you get this layer mask down here if you want to use this, so that you can then go back in and use the opposite color. So you're going to use black here on your paintbrush tool, or you hit B on the keyboard, and then you can remove the background. Or if you want to add stuff back that it took away that it shouldn't have, like its pants here, you're going to make it white, and I'm hitting X on the keyboard here to go back and forth between these two colors. And I'm just filling in this layer mask here and fixing that. All right, so those are 2 quick AI features that I use inside of Photoshop to help me save a bunch of time. So even though this cutout isn't perfect, which no cutout is going to be, like no AI tool, no AI software is perfect yet, but it gets you a long time down the road where you need to be. It saves you a lot of time versus like back in the day when I used to have to cut off a lot of these athlete photos and stuff like that. When I worked in sports, these things would take a lot more time just because you didn't really have these same features, and you have to literally manually go around and cut this out. So this saves you a lot of time from that perspective. So before we get back into that, let's go into the next feature that you can use. And that feature is going to be Generative Expand. So this use case is going to be like if you want to expand the background a different direction. So let's say we want to take this rectangular image specifically from Instagram and use it for a YouTube thumbnail, or something that needs more background than what we have right now. All you're going to do is go to this crop tool, and let's say I need more at the top if I'm making a wallpaper or something, right? Then I'm going to go up here to Fill, and I'm going to do Generative Expand. Then when I hit click, it's going to ask you what you want to do. You can just say expand the background. And what I love about this is it's super fast, but also it's going to give you 3 different variation options here. So you can choose which one of these different options that fits what you're going for within this style. So now we got this crazy one. Like, what are we doing? And we got this. Like, what are we doing? So this is not giving me a great example, but sometimes, like I said, AI, man, it's not perfect. It's not going to always give you exactly what you need. So let's try this again. This time I'm just going to expand it, and I'm going to hit it, and I'm not even going to put anything because clearly the text might have thrown it off. I just wanted to simply just expand this blurry bokeh background so that I can use it going forward. Let's see if it does it correctly this time. Perfect. So now it looks like the photographer shot it itself without giving me any other problems. You know, your creative eye is going to tell you which one of these is more realistic, which this is more realistic to me. Once you get up here, it gets kind of weird, but right about 50% of this area, it still looks good. Because more than likely, like the crowd wouldn't be all the way up here, but for the most part, like this works. You know what I'm saying? So if I wanted to scale this up, then I get what I need. So the great part about this is too, though, is that let's say I want to combine this. So I'm going to do convert to smart object. I'm going to have to rasterize this again. Let's say I wanted more room on the side. Then I could do the same thing. I'm just going to extend this out. Generative Expand. I'm not going to click anything this time because last time I did some weird stuff. And then we're going to get this. And let's see what happens. It's taking a little long to generate. Okay, cool. So now we got, similarly, like you said, you get these clean backgrounds. The first one is probably the best one. So it seems like still, it looks like an image. Like if it was just solely focused on him, he was the only one out here. This looks like a photograph that could have been taken by photographers. So again, this tool is super useful. If you need more space in your image, you know, you need more space on the right hand side, the left hand side, or at the top, or even at the bottom. I could extend this at the bottom, but when you do that, sometimes it will get a little interesting in terms of like, if you try to expand your subject in certain areas where you know they're going to need certain fine details, like in this instance, it would be socks or shoes and things like that. If I would try to extend his image and you know it's not going to be as accurate, and those are things I probably wouldn't try in this current instance, like within the platform itself. So far we've used AI to select our subject. We've used it to remove the background, which we haven't cleaned up all the way because again, now you have a more manual process, but it will give you the cleanest and most in detail fine-tuned cutout once you do it yourself, but it gives you a head start, right? Third, we use Generative Expand. And now, once again, we're going to use one of my other favorite tools. So if we zoom in, I'm going to combine this again so that we can just be working off of one clean layer. And remember, like I just said, we started off with this, and with AI, we got this. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the power of this. Like a long time ago, when I first started doing this, like we didn't have the power to use these different types of tools to expand it. Like we used to have to like try to find backgrounds to fit these things like this and like cut him out and then put him in another background, or we used to take photos of the stadium to fit certain themes. So now you have AI to help you kind of get a leg up and speed up your workflow as a creative, which is extremely beneficial. So whether you're a founder or whether you're a creative, utilizing AI is going to help you work a lot faster, turn around product a lot quicker, and make your workflow a lot more efficient. So anyway, back to the workflow. So the last thing that I love to use within this AI suite inside of Adobe Photoshop is content aware fill. So let's say for whatever reason, like I recently worked with an athlete where I had to remove a lot of his logos and stuff from the project. So this is Nate Frazier. I created a video, had a video campaign for a project with him, and included in that, you know, the brand that he's building is not associated with the University of Georgia. So in order to use these pictures, I had to do a lot of things that I'm teaching you in this video. As you see here, there's no Georgia logo here. There's no Nike logos here. And all these images look great. And a lot of these images too, I'll tell you now, are generative expands right here, right? So just like I showed you here, if we go to the original image, this is the original image here, but this is AI. But you wouldn't have known that if I didn't tell you, right? Same thing on Artboard 3. Let's go to Artboard 3. Same thing. This is our original image, and then this is AI. But you wouldn't know that if I didn't tell you. And then let's look at the last one. We got, and this was a lot of AI, I just want to be honest, because I did a lot of different expand, but I care about details. So like when we go here, I took off all his helmet logos and stuff here separately, so they're not going to be in this file. But I think you can see it if I open up this one all the way, because I think I had a lot of different layers here. So here we go. So as you can see, we got the Georgia logo removed, content aware fill, which is what we're about to go over now. I think I did generative expand for that one. Remove the dog's helmet tag. Remove the Georgia logo on the football. Talking about details. Remove the Nike logo from the hand. Remove the Nike logo from the pants. Remove the Georgia logo from the pants. And remove the Nike logo from the shirt. Like those are all separate layers that we use AI to remove. And then once we got here, we did generative expands on what? We started to cover up different areas. So we started to cover up those same patches on the people behind them, just in case they were seen in the field of view on the video. And then ultimately we expanded this stadium here in the background. So that's all with the power of AI, man. So again, so now going back to my image, if I want to do this same thing with Ryan Williams, I'm going to take my my patch tool, go around this logo so I can see. Now you can do this a few ways. You can use, I'm gonna go back up to my quick selection because that's what you use when you have these dancing ants here. So now I can right click and I'm gonna either do content aware fill, which I normally do to see what AI would generate on its own, or I'm gonna do generative fill where I can kind of tell it what to do. So content aware fill is another AI tool right here. And as you can see, it's perfect off the rip. And you saw how fast that was. So when you go out, if I hit apply, okay, look how perfect that is. It just removed that in seconds, and it didn't take me minutes to like go in and do this the long way basically. And so again, so if I go back, remember you have to be on your original layer before you start to edit, because if you try to edit this, these are all separate layers that it's doing right here for your generative expansion. So basically I'm showing you the difference here. So when you do generative expand, it's going to create separate layers so that you have more control. When you use content aware fill and things like that, a lot of times it's going to create separate layers here so that you can always go back to your original source file basically. All right, so we got those two. Let's do a few more here before we wrap this video up. So we got hold on, wait, lost my train of thought. Here we go. So this is gonna be a little more tricky, this patch here, because basically we got a lot of conflicting elements here. We got the light part of the jersey, we got the shadow on his face, we got the shadow down here. Like, I honestly don't think this is gonna do very well in terms of making this photo realistic, but you know, why not? Let's see what happens. So we got our isolated, hit W on the keyboard to get back to the quick selection tool. Content aware fill, what you're gonna do? Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, to be honest, bro. Like, so if I'm looking at this apples to apples, like, yeah, it's not perfect, but unless you like judging this photo in a photo contest, how would you know that's not the shadow that face mask cast on his jersey? Like, obviously it's going to connect somewhere, whatever the case might be, but you know, unless you're really looking that deep into the photo, you really wouldn't know. If you found this video to be valuable, make sure you check out my free school community in the link in the description below. In that community, you'll be able to join paid classes, play boot camps, as well as access free resources like project files, templates, and things of that nature. But if you don't do anything else, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe in this video below. And if you like this video, I'm sure you'll love these.